Welcome back to Living God's Promise Ministries. So, in this video, I'm going to be giving my testimony how I moved from Alabama to Michigan with $250. I'm going to try to remember all the details because I'm hoping this video will be a blessing to somebody, because this is the spring of 2026. It's March 2026, and I know a lot of people are moving. God is doing a lot of things, and I want this video to be an encouragement that if God tell you to move, that He's gonna provide for you and make all the provision. You don't have to worry. Try not to leave out any details. I'm going to try to remember. This was back in 2018, October 2018. So it's like early in October 2018. I'm originally from Michigan. I'm not from Alabama. Let me give you a backstory. So I moved to Alabama in like 2012 because I was married, and my husband and I had separated. And so I did not want to relocate to Alabama, but I guess because nothing wrong with Alabama, I just did not want to relocate. I want to stay in Michigan. I guess God saw fit for me to, He wanted me to move to Alabama for, I believe it was only supposed to be like for a year, kind of like to be with my mom, because my mom, she was in Alabama with my brother. And so I'm thinking, God may just wanted me to be there for comfort reasons, to reset. And but I wind up being there for like 6 years. And so I wasn't prospering there. Like, I was like struggling. I didn't have a blessing flow. Excuse me. And I just could not figure out like what was, I knew I just wasn't aligned. Like, things was not working out for me. Like I said, I think I only was supposed to be there for like a year or so, because it was just, things just wasn't connecting. It wasn't moving smoothly. And I know I will talk to share this with friends, that were in Michigan, and they were like, just move back home. And it's like, I really desired that. And it was like maybe in 2013, 2014, I did try to, or it might have been like 2016. I was like interviewing, for jobs in Michigan, because my plan was to just go ahead and make that move and move back. And I did. I secured a job and everything. But when I told my mom, she started crying because she didn't want me to leave her. My brother was battling a long illness, and she was his caregiver. She had remarried and relocated to Alabama. So at the time, I was down there with them, and I guess she just didn't want to see me move back home. But I had interviewed and got the job and everything. I was so super excited that I get to go back home. But I didn't take the job. But so a couple of years later, it was like God was like, I just felt like He was like, it's time to go. It's time to go back. Like, this is really time for you to go back. And so I was like, cool, I get to go back home. I'm like, okay, I can prepare and go back in a couple of months. But it was like, I was kind of like pressuring me, like, no, now. And I'm like, now? And it was like, at this time, it was like early October. I think October of 2018, October, it just came in. So I'm like, now? Oh my goodness. I'm like, so we got paid. So I'm a teacher, and I was a teacher at this time, and we only got paid, like where I was at, we only got paid once a month. Like, you had to really budget. because I only got paid once a month. So we didn't get paid till I didn't get paid till like the end of the month. So I was like, okay. So I had to really plan well. So I just started like, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody because I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want anybody to discourage me, because I knew it was God speaking. And he also said that if I stayed, I was going to struggle. And that's one thing I did not want to do. I didn't want to struggle because I felt like I was already struggling. I felt like I had been struggling the years that I was there. And so I was like, okay, God said if I decided to stay, that I was going to struggle. So when he said that, I was like, I'm getting up out of here, because you got to think about, if God said you're going to struggle, that means if I was to stay and struggle, then he was, I couldn't even, if I start struggling, I wouldn't even be able to pray about it, because he already told me you was going to struggle. So that means you just going to suffer the consequences. I was like, I was already struggling. I didn't want to struggle even more. So I just started closing out things, planning, getting prices done. I mean, getting prices, like how much it would cost to get it movers. Like I was kind of working with nothing, but I was just like, how you work with a little that you had. So it was like I had budget out. I didn't have anything saved. So I was just making a budget of my paycheck that I had coming towards that end of the month, because I know at the end of the month I was going to go ahead and make that move when I got paid. So I know, like, I had a friend of mine from Michigan agreed to come down to Alabama and drive the moving truck for me. So I had the moving truck expenses, the gas for that. And he also helped me pack my belongings, my sons and myself, my son and I, me and my son's belongings, my son and I. He helped us pack our things. And it was other few people that had, my stepfather had gathered up some guys to help load the truck, the moving truck for me. And I was able to pay them, and had to fill up my car. I had to fill up the moving truck. I had rented a moving truck from Penske, and it's like I had to pay for my friend's ticket, because his bus ticket to get to Alabama from Michigan. He took the bus there to help me drive the moving truck back. So it's kind of like, once the expenses of, luckily, the apartment I was staying in, the lease was ending. So that was just perfect time. The lease was ending for that. So I didn't renew that. And because, I didn't, how you're supposed to give like 30 days or 60 days notice, and I didn't do that. They were just like, I would just have to pay those month or two, that I would have to just pay for those couple of months, since I didn't give my 30-day notice or 60-day notice, whatever it was. So that was fine. So once I, got all these expenses paid, so I didn't tell anybody I was moving. Well, I did tell them I was moving, but I didn't, because they were helping me. But I didn't tell any other family members, just my immediate family member. And they were, shocked that I had made that decision. But I know it was God's will for my life. I know that was something I had to do. So once I paid out all the expenses, the day of the move, I only had $250. So I knew that $250 was not going to be enough for me to Michigan, from where I was in Alabama, the city I was in Alabama, to where I was going in Michigan was like 900 miles. And I had to provide gas for a big Penske moving truck and my car. At the time I had like what was that, a Dodge Journey. So I had to, plus my child, like he, when you're traveling you need to eat, so he, food and snacks for him. And I was gonna be like, hey, if I didn't have enough money, I was gonna do without. I was gonna be all right. So I was trying to figure out how I was gonna get there with this $250. Like, I did not want to. I did not share. I didn't share with anybody that's all I had. God had told me that one thing, it was like God always had me doing faith moves. It was like everything that I done was by faith. Like he has stretched my faith. My faith is just really awesome. It really is. I mean, I have, like, of all the people in my circle, my faith is, I always have the most faith. So when he told me that this was going to be like, this was going to stretch my faith, I got scared, because I'm like, man, when he told me this was going to be like the kind of like the most that my faith has been stretched so far, I was just like, that I was kind of scared. I was in fear or whatever, but I know I had to do it. I had no choice. And I was just going to see this thing through and see what the end going to bring. Well, I knew God was going to do it because he told me to do it. But you still, you still have that fear, because you just don't, it's that in between, getting there to there with $250. Like, you just looking like, okay, you're just seeing how God going to work it out. I believe God was going to work it out, but it was just that you had to really see it unfold. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had to really see it. Like, I had to really live it out and faith it out. So I didn't know how to move. I didn't know what to say or whatever. Anywho, so once we started going, of course, after first, so we filled my vehicle up, and the moving truck was already full, so that was cool. So we was able to get to the drive so far until we needed gas. So we got so far, and okay, so I filled up. I was able to, put some gas in the moving van, put some gas in my car. Right then, the money was kind of, getting low right there. So, back in 2012, that was, I don't think that the banks do that now, but when you go out of town, it's like with your debit cards, back then they would put your debit card like on hold. If you didn't tell them you was going out of town, they'd be tracking your debit card. If they see is going out of range, and then they'll start locking your account. So my phone was getting low. Let's see, I think I was able to fuel my car up one more time, and then I got so far. Okay. So then we were getting kind of low. So then I was like, I had to share with my mama because, like, when we got to the third time to fill up, I didn't have no money. So I was like, I'm like, God, what I'm supposed to do? I was like, Lord, this is so embarrassing. I don't have no money. Like, God, you're going to have to do something. Like, what are we going to do? Like, God, I don't have no money. So so I was just like, Mom, because my car wasn't working. So I wasn't going to tell her I didn't have any money. So, of course, she just assumed, she knew so far your car to start acting up on you when you get so far. And I just didn't say anything. So she was like, okay, I'll, put gas in your car to get you there, You know what, too? I left out a part. Okay, let me just stop right there. So the part that I left out was how I was able to secure a place to stay. So, I was able to secure a job, but I was also able to secure a home. So I just filled out the application, told them I was moving. They asked for proof of income, and I was able to secure the home, and I didn't have to pay that much down. I mean, it was like very little down. It was a brand new home no one had lived in, and I think I was able to secure it with it was kind of like, it was very little, maybe like $250 or $500. It was something like that. And to make sure I wasn't getting scammed or anything, I had one of my girlfriends take the money order, and she went to go look at the house for me on my behalf, just to make sure everything, because I'm not there, I can't see it, and the Lord had told me, He was like, because she was the type of person, she she's not easily impressed or anything, but it's like He had showed me a vision of her saying the house is beautiful. So I was just like, if she comes back and said this house is beautiful, I know it's God, because she just wasn't easily impressed like that. And so the day she took the money order out to the people for me, and she came back to give me a report, and I said, "Oh, how did it look?" She was like, "It is so beautiful." And when she said that, I'm like, wow, I know it was God. So I'm sorry, I just forgot that part, how I secured the place. So, because that's where some of my money went. Some of my money went. Okay, back to, so my mom, she, we only made like 4 or 5 stops to fill up on our way to Michigan. And so my mom, she put gas in there for the last 2 stops, for the truck and the for my car and the truck. So we got all the way there. Cool. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. We got there. So of course, I'm there now, and I don't have any money. Okay. So my mom and my stepfather, so they had purchased like very little groceries, because they trailed us there to make sure we got there safely, and to see where I was, because I had my son. So so they bought, very little groceries, because they only stayed like a day or two. So on the day she was going back, so I know how my mom is, and I was like, ooh, my mom, I know she gonna, bless me with something, and so when she got ready to go, I didn't tell her I didn't have any money or anything. So, but she, you know how moms can be like. So I know she was gonna look out for me, right? So I was like, no. So my mom, the day she left, so she came to me. She's like, okay, I'm getting ready to go. So she, pulled out her wallet, you know, and when she pulled out her wallet, she gave me a bill and put it in my hand. And when I looked at the bill, guys, guess how much she had given me? Like, take a good guess. Guess. No, that wasn't it. She gave me $5. I'm so serious. She gave me $5. So at this time, like, I was kind of shocked, and I don't want to seem, I did not want to seem ungrateful, because I was grateful that God used her to put gas in my car to get us there the last 2 stops. I was, but I didn't have no money, and now we're here in another state, and we don't have any money. And she gives me $5. And I didn't want to say, Mom, what the heck is this? I did not want to do that, because I didn't want to seem ungrateful, but I was just kind of like, is this a joke? $5? But I just said, thank you. Because I really was like, is she going to pull out some more? But no, she gave me $5. And I just said, thank you. Like, and I remember in my head, I was like, God, what the heck is this? And I didn't say heck in my head. I said Hell. I'm like, to God, but I'm like, because I'm just being transparent. That's what I said. I'm like, God, what is this? What can I do with this? Really? And I do remember we were able to, it was very little groceries we had. I remember it was very little. It may only last a couple of days. I do not remember. I really don't remember. I remember I didn't hardly have any gas. And I think I remember scraping change to put gas in my car. And we had moved, it was in October, the end of October going into November. And it was a bad winter that winter. And, we didn't have snow because we were coming from Alabama. And it was coming back to Michigan. And it was a bad winter. I mean, the weather was 0 below. I remember I didn't hardly have any gas in my car. I think my friend that helped move me here, I think he had gave me I think, now I don't remember. I think he might have gave me like $10 to put gas in my car or something like that. I think something like that. But I really can't tell you how we made it. The rest of that is a blur. I don't even remember, but I guess we made it because I'm talking to you. So we lived, we survived. I don't even remember that part. Maybe gotta bring that part back to my memory, and I can come back and do another video on that part. But I don't remember, after those couple of days, how did we eat? I don't remember. I really don't. How did we get around with no gas? I don't remember. I do remember I had a job, and I do remember I had a beautiful home, and that my friend that helped move me to Michigan, he had his sons help unload the moving truck, and they agreed to because I had to pay them, and they agreed to wait. They were really nice about it, and they blessed me. They agreed to wait till I was able to get some money to pay them. So that was just a blessing. But all I could do, I would remember sitting in the middle of the floor of that house and thanking God, like, God, I'm here and I made it. And that's how I moved from Alabama to Michigan with $250. God did it. And I just want it to be a testimony for you that when God tell you to do something, it may be scary, but you have to do it. You have to do it just do it being scared. You can be scared, just do it being scared. And if he told you to do it, he will get you through it. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. And so hopefully this was encouraging. Hopefully the story wasn't boring. If it was boring, I'm so sorry. But I just want to let you know the power of God, and God did it. God bless you. I love you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.